Hey everyone! Today I want to talk a bit about marketing projects in general and how to manage them. Over the last couple of months I've learned a lot of things about managing these projects and especially how to align a team on the right goals, the right initiatives to really make a big difference in the marketing project that you are doing. But it's not always easy to focus on the right metrics, so that's something that I want to explain today. The other day I was reading the book Deep Focus from Carl Newport, and in that book he was talking for a moment about the 4DX framework, or the 4 dimensions of execution, from Harvard Business School. It's something that they, let's say, invented back in the day when Intel was working on its Celeron project. So I took a deeper dive into this framework of 4DX and really figured out how can we use this for marketing, or how does this framework really make sense for marketing. So let's dive in. First of all, we have 2 different aspects of it, 2 different KPIs that we want to track. The first one being the lead KPIs and the second one being the lag KPIs. So what are these 2 exactly? Lead KPIs are basically the first KPIs that you will see moving when you are doing a certain marketing project. Let's take an e-commerce store, for example, for this video, and we want to run a campaign to increase our revenue. Our revenue is a lag KPI. That's something that comes in the end. That's basically the end goal of what we are trying to achieve here. The lead KPI is something that we can gauge our campaigns better by, actually. So let's say we have an e-commerce store for a product that's a bit more on the expensive side, so people really need a longer time to make their decision before they buy something in your store. When people need some more time and we are running campaigns, let's say we are doing a branding campaign and we're using Facebook and Instagram advertisements to create this branding campaign. We are doing this campaign, but we don't immediately see the revenue increasing. So did this campaign fail, or what's happening here? If there's a longer decision-making process, we won't see this revenue metric moving until in 2, 3, maybe 6 months, depending on the product that you're selling. So how can we see if our campaign is really working in that case? So revenue really is our lag KPI here. It's lagging behind. And our lead KPI in this case could be people visiting the website, people viewing the product page. Maybe we have a specific FAQ page about that product. That's people visiting that page would also be a lead KPI. Something else can be people adding it to the cart. Maybe you have a wish list on your website. Time spent on that specific page can also be a lead KPI. Yeah, so basically everything that we can immediately gauge, where we immediately can gauge the interest of our website visitors, of our potential customers. Those are all lead KPIs. And we are really using these KPIs to make sure that our campaign is going the right direction. We can increase budgets based on this. We can decrease budgets, we can try new things, we can try new creative for this specific campaign. These are all things that we are doing on those lead KPIs. If we would make these decisions based on the lag KPI being the revenue, we could make a lot of wrong decisions that way that we don't really want to take. So that's why it's really important to have an idea of these 2 KPIs. I was now using e-commerce as an example, but in the case you're doing B2B marketing, it's even more important because usually the decision-making process takes a lot longer in B2B marketing than it takes for e-commerce. So in that case, you even want to consider those lag and lead KPIs even more. Once we have these lead and lag KPIs in place, we have a good tool for measurement. But 4DX has 3 more parts of it. So that's just one part. Another part of 4DX is focusing on your best goals, the most wild goals that you have for your project. So try not to set too many goals, but instead just focus on, let's say, 3, maybe 4 goals that you really want to achieve. And Create a document around these goals or set it in your project management tool, whatever that works for you, but make sure that your team has access to it and they can see it. That's another important part of it. A third part is you need to have a scoreboard. People need to be able to see how they are working towards achieving these goals. Within my company, for example, I use a combination of OKRs, objectives and key results, together with the 40X framework to make sure that people are working towards the right goals that I set for our company, but also for the client project that we are working on. This way, I can give them the freedom to really set their own agenda, let's say, set their own schedule, see what initiatives they really want to be working on to achieve these OKRs. And then once a quarter, actually around this time, we will look at these OKRs and see where we got. But you want people to be able to see how they are performing towards these OKRs. In our case, we are using Asana, which has a goals features built in. And we set these OKRs for each of our projects. And everyone working on the project has their OKRs that they are responsible for, and they need to check them on a weekly basis. That's aside from the meetings that we have for these OKRs that usually recur on like a monthly basis and a quarterly basis. Monthly to just see like where we're at, and quarterly to end the OKRs for the last quarter and set the OKRs for a new quarter. Now for the last part, and that basically goes a bit hand in hand with like what I previously talked about, is accountability. We want to make sure that people have accountability towards the goals that are set for them or that they set themselves. I usually do a combination of both. So I set up broader goals, and then the people working on a specific project can set a goal specific for their project. Something that works really well and really makes sure that people are held accountable and feel accountable towards the goals that they are working on. I really hope that this brought some insights for you that you can use in your own marketing projects. Like, I'm also trying to figure things out, so this is something that really works for me. It already works for a couple of friends of mine that I talked with about this as well. So I hope it will help you as well, and I'll see you in the next video. And remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date about every time that I post a new video. Thanks for watching.